Baby bit media.
Was that what song was that?
That's just, I made that up.
Oh. Down, 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 down,
Shut up and take my podcast.
Hello. Oh, sorry, I cut you
I
off.
was still going. All right, let me finish.
Okay.
That's it.
Welcome, everyone, to Shut Up and Take My Podcast, the Futurama podcast, where we look at every single episode chronologically from the beginning all the way to the end until it ends and finished and it's done. Over.
Or is it? Or is it Sean?
Yes, I'll answer that. Yes, it is.
Yeah, but you say they said they finished so many times.
Well, okay.
They'll come back. Reboot. Futurama reboot.
Futurama reboot. Okay.
Yeah.
Futurella.
Future Robot.
Or, you know, maybe if that fan movie kicks something off.
Oh, if it gets enough views, they'll bring it back.
The Futurama fan movie. You've heard about this, haven't you?
No.
It's Futurama fan film.
Oh, I remember you talking about that. I didn't know it was a fan film.
Professional working people, crew, set. There's a lot of behind the scenes vignettes for it, and it's really like the work that went into it.
Oh,
is...
yeah.
We should probably introduce ourselves.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I am Sean.
I'm James.
I'm Chris.
And so, no longer segueing, we are on Season 2, Episode 2, Brannigan Begin Again. I had no idea what this was in reference to. Do you have any idea? Because
I don't know.
It was a HBO made-for-TV film called Finnegan Begin Again.
That sounds familiar, but
Pretty
I
much
don't know what it's about.
relevance to...
Okay.
It's like a journalist that has gone down on his luck and is now writing for something that's beneath him, and he meets a woman and shenanigans.
So it's one of those things where like, the cultural reference died and...
Is it based on a book?
I didn't look that far ahead.
Okay.
It just looks like, for the pun alone of the name, is why it was used.
Okay, well, I might quickly have... Well, no. It has a reference to the episode.
Yeah?
Well, yeah. Zapp gets fired.
I was looking at that, but just based on what the plot was saying, it looked a bit of a stretch.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to do a bit of quick research while you guys talk.
Well, I would say he does have to go to work for Planet Express ship, and he basically still captains, but it's not the glamorous starship that he once did.
I think it's enough that they would go.
Yeah, it's enough of a story and a play
it.
with. Yeah,
more so just like he's beginning again.
Yeah,
director, we got Jeffrey Lynch back from My Three Sons, and the writer we got Lewis Morton, who's back from A Big Piece of Garbage. I'm never going to get tired of that joke.
Yeah, I know.
And Slurm Factory, but also the latest thing he did was he wrote for Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
About this time last year. So,
as in Futurama recently. Family Guy recently.
Yes.
Right.
So around this time last year.
And the mighty have fallen.
Yes.
It's
Bit of shade on Family Guy there.
Well,
it's easy
we
to
all
do.
know what state it's in at the moment.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Air date November 28th, 1999. A lot of introductions. Glab, who's the head of DOOP.
Yes.
DOOP. Although it's been mentioned. Oh, that was a silly me not putting my phone on silent.
Now you learn.
Damn. It's the first time we've seen DOOP.
Yeah, we actually got to go to DOOP and see their political process.
Yeah.
I'm using quotations for political process.
The political process. Finger.
And we get to see so many different alien species who are part of DOOP, which include the My Three Sons, water aliens, and also from Slurm Factory.
That's a lot of a jury.
What's
the
his
jury
name?
has I forget the name, but one of the
Glomo.
Yeah, Glomo. One half of Glomo.
One half of Glomo. I'm not sure where the other
he's
half
still
is.
got the high pitched.
I'm assuming the other half still works at the Slurm Factory. The other half's like, look, I'm gonna go into politics. It's a good way to go because if you need someone on the inside for tax breaks
for Slurm.
For Slurm, yeah.
And we got Hyper Chicken.
Yes, I do love Hyper Chicken.
The southern Hyper Chicken,
which I assume is just a play on maybe To Kill a Mockingbird.
No, it's a play on Anatomy of a Murder, which was a Jimmy Stewart film.
I
think that's Billy West. I could be wrong. Oh, we get the neutral president.
Yes, I do love the
doesn't
neutrals.
Really come back later, except maybe once or twice. But I've quoted him so many times.
Yes, if I die, tell my wife.
Hello.
Just everything about the neutrals is great. Like how Brannigan just hates them so much
with like a visceral passion.
Yeah, but it's that whole thing where like people always like pick a side. You can't just be in the middle. You can't be neutral. It's like
you kind of understand.
Yeah,
like he makes a very good point. It's like with people usually with enemies you know where they stand, but with neutrals you have no idea.
It makes a good point, but people are allowed to be neutral.
Yeah,
like it doesn't have to be black or white. You're allowed to grey area, and they are the grey area.
They're literally grey.
So I did a bit of research just then on the Finnegan Begin Again. Finnegan Begin Again is based off of a nursery rhyme.
Because it rhymes. Finnegan.
Yeah, Michael Finnegan. It's a nursery rhyme called Michael Finnegan.
Yeah.
Poor old Finnegan. He basically just stuffs up in things that he tries to do and has to begin again.
Right.
So Finnegan Begin Again, the HBO...
Say that again?
Finnegan Begin Again.
I love hearing that.
The HBO show... There you go, there's another one. Was based on the nursery rhyme.
Oh, is this a season 2 thing?
What do you mean?
We have to rhyme and sometimes sing?
Yes. Yeah. Episode 9 of season 2 will be done completely in song.
To you.
I'll do it.
No, I did it again. I rhymed.
Oh, nice. You're rhyming with me.
Yeah. Do you see?
James, join us and make it 3.
Oh, me?
Yes, thee.
Why thee?
Stop. Okay.
If you're still with us, should we get onto the plot?
Yeah, let's talk about the episode instead of being inane bullshit artists.
Who's got the plot?
I'll do it.
Yeah,
if
you did the
like.
plot last time.
Okay.
So I'll take the plot.
Sure.
Okay.
And this time do it good.
Okay, this time, but good. All right. Due to Zach's incompetence after blowing up DOOP, the DOOP's new headquarters, which cost $400 billion, where he blows it up, he's forced, court-martialed?
Court-martialed and dishonourably discharged.
Dishonourably discharged. He ends up going to work for Planet Express ship, where he mutinies, takes
Along
the crew
with
over.
Fry and Bender. Yep, they all mutiny.
And chucks Leela in the laundry brig. And he plans to suicide them into the neutral planet.
Which, to be fair, he did tell them in When Aliens Attack, every mission he does is a suicide mission.
That's a good point.
So he did warn them.
Yeah.
It's continuity.
It's their fault for not listening. Like, everyone knows that you die if you listen to him.
True.
I mean, like, the safest person to be around Zapp Brannigan is to be Kiff.
Yeah.
Because he's so, like, serving to him.
Yes.
You have to be, like, doing everything for him. And then he's like, all right, you're useful.
Yeah. Shave my armpits.
Damn it, I love Kiff in this episode.
I know, right?
I adore Kiff in this. Is because you could easily... Because we get him being, quote-unquote, freed from Zapp Brannigan, and he finds solace in Leela as a captain who is nice to him, and so he starts to divulge more and more information. And you could easily end the episode of he's with Leela, and there's a great little back and forth. He's the perfect second in command to Leela, but then we just add that extra layer, which is no, he's really annoying, and he starts to annoy her.
Well, it's not really his fault. Like, if he probably didn't spend 100% of his time with Zapp Brannigan, he would have his own life. Yeah, because he doesn't have his own life. All he has to talk about is Zapp. And
it's just so well crafted.
So it's like, can we talk about something else? He's like,
He
anyway,
actually tries.
He tries.
Yeah.
He cannot think of a time, probably without Zapp. And it's really sad.
It kind of is. It's really tragic.
I'm just like, I really wish he had a life.
It makes me wonder, because I haven't gotten to a lot of the later episodes of Futurama yet. I actually haven't watched a lot of the final seasons. I wonder if they ever...
The Comedy Central seasons?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is what's kind of exciting for me, but I wonder if they ever go into how Zapp and Kiff met, how that relationship began, because I want to know. Surely they do. Surely or whether
origin story.
Surely.
or did like Zapp just get Kiff as a baby and just grew, or as a tadpole or whatever he is?
Yeah, man.
What is Kiff?
It's a croaker.
Isn't that his last name?
That's his last name, yeah.
Yeah. So what? So it's like he's just his last name? That's
I don't know.
What we do with the species?
It's a guess.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What do we think?
It's a fun episode.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's another Zapp Brannigan where it's just a bit of fun.
Yeah, I enjoy this one. I really like the story is succinct and is, hey, you know what's a really interesting trait that we've kind of discovered is that if there's one like storyline, it's a really good episode.
Yes.
Crazy that.
Yeah.
Like complex stuff is not necessary. Yeah, it's a great episode because it starts and ends circularly.
And it uses
circularly?
It uses such a primary strength of a series, which is
Circular.
Zapp and Kiff. So much of the comedy and the plot hinges on them. And we even split them apart for half the episode as well. And they work fine on their own. So I stand corrected from my early episode where I say they don't really work well apart. They totally do.
Yeah.
It's well, let's just go straight onto it. Favorite moments. We can just get straight onto that and we can divulge as we go.
Sure.
Dissect as we go.
Probably Fry with the high gravity rain.
Yes, that's a very good moment.
I really enjoyed that.
So time for some good old fashioned high gravity rain.
Yeah, this will be nice and refreshing.
Just that was a great split second of silence before, and the sound effect on his tongue. His neck goes to the ground. It's just.
As he hits the ground,
Sound design on this show is really spot on. I'm starting to realize just the sound of the girdle, the girdle ripping.
Ah, yes.
Kiff walking out onto the high gravity planet, and his whole body just hitting, his head just hitting the ground. The physical gags in this are really great. Any episode where Brannigan's kind of in it lend themselves to a more physical, I think. Because he brings that kind of reckless abandon, where physical gags kind of carry better. They're funnier. They're I don't know. They resonate better. The rock paper scissors.
Search then for paper and bring me a rock.
It's like, wait a minute.
Why? Yeah, Kiff's why is probably
is a highlight.
But paper covers rock, but scissors cut paper.
Kiff, we have a conundrum. The nylon aliens.
Yeah, they're good.
Good.
Oh yeah.
What could these scissors possibly cut through?
The nylon people of whatever it is.
Bergan.
Yarnum 4.
Yarnum 4.
Yarp. James?
Yeah, what Chris says, but also Farnsworth doesn't recognise Bender.
Yeah.
It's just really fun.
That
It's
little
like,
shrug.
Yeah, I'm your old pal Bender. It's like your cheeky rascal friend. And it's
Your
like,
lovable robot.
and it's like, oh yeah, it's like, and he shrugs. But like, the only problem with it, I wish that shrug was like from Hermes, like over the shoulder from Hermes' perspective of like close up.
Yeah,
kinda.
yeah,
Like,
I felt the same. Actually,
Pull into a tighter shot of over that side of the table, and just be like, because when you're looking like that wide, I feel like
the impact of it is a little less. Yeah,
it's a little missed, and like I feel like Bender shouldn't even be part of that shot. Just be like, you've pushed
just
that
go
aside,
into
be
the
like,
mid shot with the two of them and
just
really
the
hone in on
like,
that gag.
I don't know who that is. That's probably my
Yeah.
only problem with that gag, but it's still a funny moment.
On
Fun.
Farnsworth, it's such a simple thing, and I realised he doesn't do it enough. When Zapp and Kiff come in to beg for a job, Farnsworth comes up and says, "Oh, you're that disgraced captain." He gets right into Zapp's personal space and like an inch away from him, and he's smiling. And then he goes to Leela and says, "We could use him." Gets right up into Leela's, just like an inch from them, talking to them. Like that's a normal thing to do. It's a nice little character trait. I wish they brought back more. A few things I can run through is that this IGN a couple of years back did their top 25 episodes of all time once the series finished. This is number 6
really?
of all time.
Wow, that's a big claim.
Yeah, that's what I thought, especially when you've got some of the episodes that are to come.
Yeah, that's right.
Like The Sting and Jurassic Park.
I'm gonna guess most Zapp Brannigan episodes on their list.
Yeah, a lot of Brannigan.
One or two are not.
Okay.
Yeah,
actually sync pretty badly.
So references wise, we get a first proper reference to Star Trek.
Yep,
with Hermes.
Not. Yes, a direct reference.
Direct reference.
Yes.
He says, like your Star Trek show, which is kind of retconned a little bit later because Star Trek is a forbidden word.
Yes.
The mention of Star... You're
Yes.
not you are actually not allowed to mention Star Trek. I would get Djarik, the Star Wars board game.
Board game, the chess game.
Which actually has, if you notice it, like everyone who's in the UN is on that board.
Yes.
They just reuse, because they're like, we're animating for this episode. Let's just shrink them and put them on this table.
Yeah.
For ease, really.
Midnight Cowboy.
Yep.
Gets both the song and the scene.
And that's
the
Fox,
same
so
costume.
they would have been able to get the licensing for that really easily.
Yeah.
That's why The Simpsons get away with it, and Family Guy,
Yeah.
and American Dad. American Dad does it as well.
No Zoidberg.
Yeah.
No Zoidberg.
No time.
No Amy Wong. It's interesting.
Any problems with the episode you want to discuss? Things we don't like?
The judge in the DOOP, that joke runs a little
Glab.
bit.
Yeah.
Jokes
I'm
runs
going to allow this.
Yeah, it runs a little bit stale for me. Like it's
Yeah, it's a bit
just
flat.
a tiny bit flat. I get what they're doing with it. I get the joke. The first 2 times or 3 times, I do enjoy it. I wish something was more outrageous than what the characters are proposing.
Yeah, so the I'm going to allow this has more of a... Like, if they got into a fight or whatever, and then you're like, I'm going to allow this.
Yeah.
What?
Allow me, like someone to be like, Your Honor, I'd like to remove Bender's head.
Yeah, or it's like, allow me to treat the witness as hostile and brings out a bat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like,
exactly.
I'm going to allow this. And it's like, you see out of frame.
Exactly. Something
yeah.
like that. Something
Just with that stoic face.
Yeah.
yes, something like that. Something to up the ante of her. I'm going to allow this. Because that's the joke, right?
Yeah.
Is that the stakes continue to go up and up and up, and she continues to allow this.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah.
the joke. But I think the first thing she allows is after she's made her decision.
Yeah, her ruling.
And her ruling is that she allows Leela to like make to restart the session.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't really go anywhere from there except into the absurd. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's such a big law thing to do. To just go, I have to throw this thing out. Your Honor, don't do that. I know you've already done it, but let's start this court session again because I say so. Oh, I'm going to allow that. It's like, well, you don't really have anywhere comedic to go from that point except into the absurd.
Yeah, something more than that.
Yeah.
Even like Leela's testimony, it's like, I saw him do it. It's like, everyone already knows he did it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like repeating the same thing you just heard. There was nothing else to add.
The idea that like the jury can't, because they're directly affected, can't convict him.
They already found him guilty, I
Yeah,
believe?
yes. No, they hadn't at that point.
Didn't they actually?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they say like, "What are you going to?" He goes, who are you going to vote? What are you going to vote guilty?" And then the judge is like, "You have to disregard your own opinion."
Yeah.
Which is a funny like little moment, but like the structure of the joke isn't quite well done.
Yeah, it's just a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's another play on like whenever like something brings up in court and then the judge is like, forget that. It's like, well, as a person, I can't forget
Yeah,
that.
that's right. That's right.
I know this evidence is immiscible, but I'm pretty sure they did it now.
Yeah.
The insanity of law.
What about you guys? Anything missed out?
I don't know why, but and this is just something I'm thinking, just a feeling I had, is I always find that it's very easy for there to feel like there's dead space, narratively speaking, and more from a pace standpoint, when they've got a scene where they're in the cockpit, in the bridge of the Planet Express ship. There was just a moment where it was, I think it's just after Leela gets sent to the laundry brig.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just Bender, Fry, and Zapp before they've crashed and before Fry goes, oh no! So it's like, it just felt like there was a lull. And I found that's happened often there's, and usually it happens at the end of episodes when we head to the
never random party. At the end
it just seems like it just drops.
Well, I mean, if you think about it in kind of a critical way, it's because it's a location on the ship that has all the importance of, the direction of the ship and all that sort of stuff. And when there's conflict around that, like guiding the ship, directing it, flying it, that's when the scenes work. When it's just used as a set piece, when it's just used as a place for the action to be, it always dies because the location means nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well be having those scenes in front of a white canvas for all that matters. It's the same that we had with the Bot Planet. Like, why are they in the cockpit when they're doing Bender's like montagey flash the photos robotica? Robotica. Why have it in the bridge? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't need to be there. In the same way, there's a lot of that in this episode where, well, not a lot of it, a little bit, where they're just there for the sake of being there.
Yeah.
Well, they could have jumped straight into like, let's have a suicide mission, like straight away.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, Fry, go, like, I swear they had have they done a gag? Do they do a gag later where there's like it's like a steering wheel lock is on the...
They do.
Yes,
they do that later in the series.
Yeah, but I feel like he could have been like, just go Fry's like, Fry, put this on the steering wheel. And he does it, and it's like, okay, good. Now, like, he's already putting on the suit for the suicide mission. Like, straight away, it's like, now he's got the power, now he's got the ship. It's straight into, I'm gonna go get my captaincy back.
Yeah. It's just, it was just a quick 30-second minute scene that I just noticed. It's a very small gripe, but I just noticed there was just something that was like
totally.
a lull.
Yeah, and it's a very small one because it's a really good episode.
Yeah, it would be good to be like have literally Leela's in there like 5 minutes before they come and get her and be like, so we're gonna die now. Like,
like the actual the speed of it being quicker.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of like a visual gag. Like, the time where Fry's in the first episode, he's putting on his clothes. By the time it's like great, he's done something.
Yes,
Leela's gone in. She's starting doing something. By the time that simple task is finished,
they're already doing.
They're already in there being like, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, you've kind of established Zapp enough that you're like, that's kind of a natural conclusion.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a suicide mission. Yeah, they're kind of screwed. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to see that play out necessarily.
Yes, that's right.
That's
maybe
little things.
Maybe that's the neutral planet stuff that gets in the way of that. Like the desire for them to reuse the neutral planet as a character and as a set.
It's interesting because I do enjoy the neutral planet gags, but I know it is not for everyone, and it is very much a gag and a recurring gag that you either are going to enjoy or not.
I've never encountered someone who doesn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of the creators make jokes about it, like that they went to the well too much in that episode for it.
I think they did.
Yeah.
I still love it.
Yes,
I still love it.
But I do agree that they went to the well a bit too much. I think it is used as a set piece far too much.
Hell, I wouldn't mind an episode based around it.
No, that's
Go
right.
to the neutral planet.
Surely they could have cut half of it and still had "Tell my wife hello."
Yeah, that's great.
And I would have been like, I love the neutral planet.
Yeah.
Same. Beige alerts.
Beige alert.
So how do we think this stacks up against When Aliens Attack?
Well, I think we have another loser.
I'm gonna vote for when Aliens Attack. That's my vote. This one's a great episode. I don't know know if it deserves to be as high as it is on certain lists.
Yeah, that does surprise me.
I don't think it does deserve to be up there. It's still a great episode.
It's good, but I don't find it particularly memorable in hindsight when I've thought back on Futurama. It doesn't grab my interest as
Even
much.
on like the Zapp Brannigan centered episodes.
Yeah.
It's not one that sticks out.
No.
I'm thinking of like Leela sleeping with Zach or them going to this new
balls.
planet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
the bouncy balls.
Yeah, war is a Z word. Like, even his stuff about, like, and who did you sleep with, and could you point to him? Like, that stuff's, like, at a time when, like, sex was, like, in the 90s and early 2000s, when sex was a little less risque, a little more risque, was a little more, like, created a bit of buzz. Sure, it's 2017 and it doesn't carry as much.
It's not as much impactful as it is now, but I do appreciate that the one time he has a chance to defend himself, he uses it as a chance to basically, someone slept with me.
Yeah.
Look how good I am.
Yeah.
And I got laid.
Like, obviously, when you look at it,
that
look
whole
at it from a contemporary perspective, you're like, we wouldn't do that as much now, but you can appreciate that is every interaction Brannigan has.
absolutely.
It's like great.
It's just
why
the punchlines are not as clever. I think like the idea of it, like Zapp defending himself and not really defending himself and just bragging. Yeah. That's great. But the actual punchlines within the kind of idea of that setting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it would have been better if, like, and, you know, last time we met, we had sex. You're under oath. How good was I? You know, like, something like that would be better. Like, something that ups his bragging.
And it's like, I don't know, she has to say something and then, like, gets, like, the writer to read it back for her.
Yeah, something like that.
Just something a bit
funnier.
more where he wants to hear it again. And
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going with When Aliens Attack?
I think so, yeah.
I've got a bit of a tweak on the voice thing today.
Okay.
So the character we are doing is the neutral president.
Nice.
Okay.
However, you have to come up with a different neutral sentence.
Oh, okay.
Baby Beard Media is a subscription service that you can listen to if you choose.
Both a plug and a line. I like it.
I know, right? That's clever. Pretty smart. Just pat myself on the back. Yeah.
I find Baby Beard Media listenable.
That's great. That's way good.
It couldn't be good, it couldn't be bad. It had to be what it is.
That's fantastic. We should put that on our Facebook page.
Find it listenable.
Yeah, good guys. Cool. Yeah.
It's hard thinking of something that's just neutral.
Yeah, it's very
something
difficult.
that doesn't have an opinion either way, but is still something to say.
Yeah. Okay, what do we have next time?
Yes, I get out of that. Good.
I knew you were struggling. I'm just gonna get you out.
I'll put it in post.
Yeah.
God, for someone that does acting, I should have good improvisational skills.
Improv. Say yes.
You can do like...
I was gonna do a reference that wasn't Baby Beard at all.
Yeah.
Which was like the other one I didn't know how to structure it properly.
What was this?
It was don't blame it on the boogie unless you want to. Because it's something about the Michael Jackson, blame it on the sunshine, blame it on the boogie.
The boogie is not to blame, unless you believe it is.
Yeah, I'll cut that out. Well, everyone, if you want to join us next week, just, if you'd like to. You don't have to, but if you'd like to.
If you're neutral about it.
Maybe see us next week for Ahead in the Polls.
I think I know what this episode is. It's a
Is
good
it
episode.
It's a very important reintroduction, rather.
He's back.
Finally.
I don't think we've seen since the
Chris
pilot.
is your favorite president.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah, my favourite.
When the president does it, it's not illegal.
He hasn't come back since the pilot. When
No,
he
he
was
hasn't.
gnawing on Fry's elbow.
That's right.
The last time we saw him. Yeah, join us for that.
Yeah.
Ahead in the polls.
So like when we get like Futurama reboot, I'm talking like maybe 50 years in the future. They'll be like, all
When
right,
we're still doing this podcast.
yeah, when they're doing it, and then they're like, okay, we need a corrupt president to use. They can use Trump.
Yeah.
We just lost the pod.
Unless
listener.
Trump-
We just lost
like-
a listener.
No.
We gained a whole bunch.
Oh, true.
Yeah. No, what's going to happen is Trump's going to actually do history as per Futurama, which is he'll destroy the world, it will destroy itself, we'll have to rebuild
Yes.
civilization, and we'll think Trump was good.
And he'll get a giant robotic body.
Yeah.
And a race car.
And a race car.
Is any of this getting through to you?
Yeah. No, I have been Sean.
I've been James.
I've been Chris.
And I've been James.
What was this podcast?
What are we doing with our lives?
That was all over the
Is
place.
it my neutral again?
God damn it, my mic is being a right shit.
It's been
right
limp.
shit. Not a left shit. Comedy.
Left shit. What are you, a Democrat?
Freeze frame.
Nice.
Everybody's
Nice.
talking about me. I don't hear a word they're saying. Only
Cut that. We'll have to pay for the song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
They won't. They'll never listen.
They might.
They
Nah.
might listen. We're sorry.
Yeah, and no algorithm is picking that up. Like,
Yeah, 3 people singing disharmoniously.
yeah,
A cover, like
No, you know what?
they can't pick
will,
up live
You
versions.
know what
though.
will screw us? M-I-C-K-E-Y.
Yeah, Disney will sue us. Don't sing that.
Please explain.
Sounded like the seagull from Finding Nemo.
Mine?
Please explain.
She
Mine?
does sound like that. I'm
Mine?
a racist. Mine? This
Mine?
country's mine.
Well,
Mine.
have you guys
This
heard-
country's mine.
Have you heard
Mine?
the
I think it's the heat.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's I was gonna say my sexy body.
Chris,
Radiating sexy.
I can say
But it
this.
might be the heat. You never
I can
know.
say this with the most utmost sincerity.
Yeah.
It is the sexy body.
You have a body.
I do.
There,
Yeah.
full circle, neutral
Hey,
sentence.
neutral
Bye,
fun.
everyone.
Let's get pumped.
Come on, energy.
Super hype fun times. Hooray. Go. Let's use this energy.
Okay, all right.